degrees here today.
71 degrees. Over here, it's in the 40s. It's crazy. We had snow again. Usually it doesn't snow so much in Virginia, but early snow. We had at least 3 inches, I think. And, everything it seems like winter has started a bit earlier than usual for us in this side of the country. And
We're going to be in the mid to upper 60s for the next 10 days and a few days in the 70s.
So I've also been reading that in Israel they're having some kind of a storm called Byron, and that storm is really letting out a deluge of rains all over Greece and Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and of course, thank God, it's flooding out Gaza. It needs to flood Gaza into the sewers. Uh, but we'll see what happens with that storm going on. Um, so anyway, like every week, there's so much to talk about. One of the things that I
Your eyes
noticed.
are too low. Lower your camera. Turn the camera down to,
There we go.
yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that is going on is how crazy the world is getting, even here in America. And a lot of the craziness also is from the right wing political affiliated people. Um there, we were talking a little bit last week about how they're trying to force everybody that has dual citizenship into one citizenship. Now they're saying that if you're born in a different country and you're naturalized, what they're trying to do is pass a law that you can't run for office. Uh, it creates like a two-tier caste system in America. So is America becoming like India, a caste society where you have the privilege, and underneath the privilege is all the fools, and the fools are really mucking up a whole bunch of stupid ideological ideas, and Congress is acting on it. I don't know to what degree, but you have uh, you have a lot of participants in Congress who are definitely hell bent in pleasing the fools. So we're turning into a foolish society. Another issue is that
What do you mean turning? We're there. We've been there for decades.
yeah, you're right. I agree. So there's also a movement to make English the only language to be spoken in America, because it is the official language. Which okay, I understand that. But some of the side effects that's happening is that here it's not only they're trying to encourage English to be the official language, which it is already the official language. They're trying to make Christians or Christianity as the official religion of America. So it goes back to what we've been discussing in the past, that if Christianity becomes the official language religion in America, so what is America? Is America going to be a pagan nation, because Christianity is really nothing but uh, a I would call it a vulture religion out of Judaism. They take Judaism, they take all the aspects of the Torah, and whatever fits their lifestyle, they will keep. And whatever it does not fit their lifestyle, they what they do is decide that they're going to impeach it. So to me, Christianity and also Islam is really a contrived religion created by men, that it's suited for whatever lifestyle is befitting for the majority of the people of the nation. There's no such a thing as a Judeo-Christian ethics. All the ethics comes out of Judaism. It's either Judaic ethics or it's pagan ethics.
Well,
So,
America was always a Christian nation. And if Jews have a problem with it, Jews belong in Israel.
well,
Israel
Jews,
is not a Christian
I
nation.
agree. Jews definitely belong in Israel because that's where God gave him the promised land. And that's where he said he's going to be the God in the land of Israel. He didn't say he's going to be the God of a universal God for everybody to in whatever country they're living in. Uh, so what happens is that so what happens is each nation thinks God is favoring their nation, but that's not what the Torah says. The Torah specifically says otherwise. Um, the, so. So God doesn't seem to be a universal God. God is definitely a local God and specific to whoever took on His commandments and His wants. Christianity, by majority, Christians are the majority, and they can go ahead and create a Christian nation, but it's not going to be Christian. It's going to be what I call a cartoonish religion that they believe in cartoonish characters such as Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and all these things. So essentially, Christianity is really much of a cartoonish the religion invented. They create saints, and the saints have certain powers that you could always enjoy watching it on Warner Brothers cartoons and Bugs Bunny or whatever. They have all these miraculous powers of healing and so on. So this is what America is reverting to, in becoming a very unsophisticated nation that is going to be ruled by people who who have no sanctity with God. Uh,
Well, in the early days of this country, we were 13 colonies that became the first 13 states. 9 of those states had official religions. Maryland and Georgia were Catholic states. You could practice a different religion, but the official religion of the state was Catholicism. In Virginia, it was a Baptist state. And it was like that through 9 of the 13 colonies. Also, I want to add, talking about the American people, when this country was formed, Europe warned us that the masses are just too stupid to be allowed to pick their own leaders. And if that was true then, it's certainly true today.
well, that was also part of Plato, the Republic of Plato. You can read that. People who should have been able to read it in high school. That he stated that democracy is the governance of the fools. It only works with the elites, the rest of the people are fools. It's the weakest form of government because people make a decision and they vote according to their creature comfort, whatever makes them happy for the moment. And there's no such a thing as defining what happiness is. Happiness could be what one person may interpret happiness as having freedom. Other people say, yes, I could be very happy, but I'll be a lot happier if I had a prostitute with me. So when in the preamble of the U.S. Constitution says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that is an open-ended definition. What is the pursuit of happiness? What makes one person happy may make other sectors of society very unhappy. So, so you're right. The original 13 colonies, people did follow according, or they set up their laws and the structures according to their the church that they belong to. But that doesn't exist anymore. What really exists today is this vacuum of emptiness of human secular religion, which follows no rules, no laws, or no divine laws, or anything of that nature.
Well, the Western countries, they're all secular. I've been to a few countries and the churches are empty. Synagogues are very rare, but you come back to America and once again, except for the biggest holidays, the churches are empty. I used to go to a gym in Whitestone in Queens when I used to live in New York City, and it was a massive church called St. Luke's. It took a big city block, and even the side of the building was a fairly long city block. They had a parochial school and a rectory for the priests and the nuns, and a massive church. And I'd go to the gym Sunday morning, late morning, and you'd see one or two little old ladies going in and one or two little old ladies coming out, and that was it. The young people just no reverence anymore. When they took out God from the schools, it was replaced by violence. So they've removed God from the whole country practically. We used to, when I went to school, which is going back to the 1500s, we used to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, and the principal would come over the PA system and read a passage from the Bible. Because we had a lot of Jewish kids in my school, a lot, we were probably 55% Jewish, 45 non-Jewish. They always read from the prophets, Proverbs, Psalms. They didn't read from the New Testament. And then I went to junior high school and the same thing. The principal came over the loudspeaker and he was a Jewish principal and they read once again from those same passages. We were too young to know what he was saying, but we knew we put our heads down or else. And it gave us a certain morality, which is severely lacking in modern day schools.
Well, there's no morality, and that's being replaced by really by Islam. There's Islam. I see Islamic mosques mushrooming all over the country. So
300 in Texas, more than 300 in
and
Texas alone.
really, and what happens is also that there is a some resurgence of Christians going back into towards Christianity, but that going back mostly into the more fundamental form of Christianity as opposed to the old structured Catholic Church type of a thing. Even what I've been reading, Erica Kirk said that her husband, before he died, he was pushing more and more to be much more observant of the Sabbath. That was that, so that was very important for him because they wanted to go back towards the original way of practicing Christianity in the way they thought Jesus practiced Christianity. Uh, so,
Well,
but
Jesus didn't actually practice Christianity. He practiced,
yeah, he practiced Judaism.
it was Judaism with
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
change.
Right. I stand to be corrected. Uh, but you're right. He practiced Judaism, and many of these fundamentalists are heading in that direction also. They're heading in the direction that they're going to be practicing the religion in according to the way Jesus practiced his, which will be great. It'll be wonderful for them to do away with a lot of the hypocrisy and in this man constructed religion that they have, which is not called either Catholicism or whatever it may be. Uh, so, but one of the things that I'm always skeptical about what Christians do is when they try to missionize people, they always try to read from our prophets, the prophets of the Jews. And how dare they read the passages from the prophet of the Jews? Because the prophets of the Jews could not be prophets unless they held the Torah to its ultimate test. They would not, they had to be beholden to the Torah 100%. So they are reading passages from the prophets who were beholden to the Torah, but they themselves are not beholden to the Torah, and they think they're expert in interpreting what a prophecy says. To me, they are just like the Muslims, where they're nothing more than cannibalistic religion. They cannibalize little excerpts out of Judaism, the same thing what Islam does, and they form this big religion around whatever they can cannibalize out from our religion.
Well,
Uh,
they didn't just cannibalize, they perverted it to beyond belief. The Adam and Eve story is Eve, this is in the Quran. Eve made the tree bleed, which is why women bleed and are stupid. So that's their version of Adam and Eve.
Yeah, so so right now we're heading into the Christmas season, or in a couple of weeks, another 10 days or so, we're going to have a Christmas. So there's supposedly the birth of the God of the Christians, one of the things that really is amazing to me is that how how Christians themselves just cannot seem to get cannot get the essence that that the whole story mimics the story of Abraham and Sarah, where Sarah was barren; she couldn't have children, and Mary also did not have a child, but God gave her. Impregnated her with his seed, and now you have a son. With the story of Sarah and Abraham, is she was 9 years old. She couldn't have kids, and God fulfilled the promise that he would open up her womb, and then she gave birth to Isaac and Ishmael. So basically, Christianity is an imitation religion, imitating Judaism. That's how they present that story. Islam also does certain things. They imitate things out of Judaism, and but what they, like you say, they pervert. Their perversion is to create this big mess lie. They say now, I see in many I guess X, or in various different social websites. Now the Muslim says that Jesus was a Muslim. Well, Islam did not exist back then, but now, so what they want to do is they're trying to steal away Jesus out of Judaism to say that he was a Muslim. That everything that Abraham and Moses and Jesus, they all were Muslims. You see, this is so what they're trying to do. They're stealing our religion from us, and the one and you'll be surprised how many millions of stupid idiots are out there believing in the word of what they have to say.
Well, in Christianity or in Judaism, they refer to the prophets, but in Islam, every famous biblical person was a prophet. The prophet Noah, the prophet Abraham in the Jewish religion, the prophet Jesus. Everybody's a prophet to them. Well, a prophet is supposed to prophesize, supposed to tell what's going to be happening and
Well, no,
what's
that's not necessarily true. I'm going to have to correct you. What creates a prophet is the iteration, and a conversation that any man has with God. Okay, so yes, Abraham did converse with God. So yes, he was a prophet. Same thing with Noah. Noah was also a prophet. Uh, Same thing with Moses. Moses was also a prophet. However, okay, prophecy died after the destruction of the first temple. God withdrew from he withdrew himself from being active with mankind, with Jews or anything. Nothing was holy anymore, and he let the world be according to its own demise. Prophecy totally ended at the destruction of the first temple. Jesus and Muhammad and what's his name? Alfred E. Newman.
yeah, what me worry?
Yeah, right. They couldn't be prophets because they existed after the destruction of the first temple. Now, they can create their own prophets. It's fine. I mean, whatever they want to create for themselves, it's false prophets. It's not our prophets, and if it's not our prophets, there's no prophecies beyond them.
I have a question for you, and it's a heavy question.
Okay.
What if, and don't tell me it's impossible, I'm just saying, I'm giving you a hypothetical. What if, as the Christians believe, that Jesus was the Jewish Messiah and he's going to come back out of the clouds and you will see the wounds on him from the crucifixion? And this time he's coming as a warrior to slay the enemies of Israel. What if that happens? What would you say? What would you do?
Okay. First of all, that's a good question. The only thing is that in order to be a Messiah, the Jews have to accept it as a Messiah. If the Jews are not going to accept whoever it is, Jesus or Bugs Bunny or whatever, then if they're not going to accept it as a Messiah, it's not going to work.
Well, he's supposed to come, according to Christianity, he's supposed to come back as a warrior, and the whole world will see him as he comes out of the sky over the Mount of Olives, Mount of Olives. And I'm just wondering what, and it's not just Jews condemning Christianity. Christians condemn Judaism for being blind, but Christians condemn each other. Each sect condemns each other. If you don't go to my style church, you're going to rot in hell. And the other group will say, if you don't come to our church, you're going to rot in hell. But what if all this is put aside when this giant figure appears to lead his army of angels against the enemies of Israel?
Now
What
I'm
you
going to
say?
say something which is totally out of the box. Okay, I don't buy this concept of Messiah. It's not that I disbelieve in it. I just don't believe in it because there's nowhere in the Torah, in the five books of Moses that I'm beholden to, does not mention one word about a Messiah. That is something that has been constructed by man.
I'm not that well versed. That's deep. I don't think
That's a
many people
concept.
know that.
I'm not saying, well, God cannot create a miracle, but I do believe that the only thing God promised us, okay, promised in the Torah, is salvation. Now, you can equate salvation with Messianic era. You see what I'm saying? That could be, so God said he will never destroy the Jews, but one day he's going to give the Jews salvation. in my belief right now, my personal belief, okay, we are in the time of salvation, uh, especially when the Jews came out of the Holocaust and out of the Middle East, being beaten and almost extinct, or genocide, okay, by the non-Jews. Okay, we call them goyim, okay, which are calling us now genocidal people. They are the ones who created the genocide. Uh, so they're projecting themselves upon us. So what happens is that the whole issue of a Messiah is, I think it was invented by the rabbis. And there was a reason why they invented
I
it.
see, I can't argue with you because I'm not that well versed. That's deep stuff.
So what I'm saying is, when you see a country that is 77 years old, okay, and came out of the ashes out of Europe, and the country has no minerals in the ground, has no natural resources. The only natural resources they were able to pull together in 77 years is the brain power of the people to become a world power today. How can you, how can you account for that? How can you explain that? How can
Jewish
it?
Jewish brains.
I mean, there's no country in the world that has been recreated out of the ashes after over 2,000 years of extinction. Okay, it recreated itself. It brought back the same language. Nowhere in history any nation has ever done, or people have ever done anything like that. They brought back the religion, they brought back the language, and they brought back the glory of the country, of the land itself, where it's the land is posh, and it bears fruit like no time ever before in history. How can you account for anything like that? What people, what nations of people anywhere in the world were able to recreate their original country in the original land?
Yo, how do you grow fruit in the desert? Even Winston Churchill said, wherever the Jews go, there is green. Wherever the Muslims go, there is nothing. He called them Mohammedans. Wherever the Mohammedans go, there is nothing but desert.
There's rocks, and that's what Wingate, the governor of Palestine during the Mandate, what he said is that you can always tell the difference between a Jewish farm and a Arab farm, because the Jews, they love the land. They will clear the land of rocks. They will till it. They will work the land, and they make it productive and beautiful. The Arabs will never even remove the rocks. They will never do anything like that. They just, the only thing they do is exploit the land. Yeah.
1,400 years of Islam, 1.5 billion Muslims, give or take a billion, and they've created nothing in all that time except misery and terror.
Yeah, well, in the give and take of Islam, I will definitely give them away. I mean, I don't need to take them in. They don't. They have zero added value for yeah, for the world. They pray, and they pray. You have to give them. They're very devout people to God. At least in their form, they're very devout. They believe in the one God, the unity of one God in the universe. They do not believe in the Trinity, like Christians believe, which is again paganism. So they are very devout in that sense. However, they are they do everything antithetical to what God promise the Jews to he never promised anything to the Muslims. The Muslims are, as you stated before about Christians fighting each other. Muslims are worse. They not only fight and kill each other. What they do is they kill their own children, their own daughters, if they disrespect or dishonor their family. And what kind of religion is that? It's it's a very primitive religion, and
It's barbaric. They have sex with sheep, sex with camels.
yeah. And the deal is with Islam is that they have this fantasy. I don't know. It's this fantasy of of 1,000 nights in Arabia or whatever it may be, that they are going to be able to conquer Israel, and they are going to. And once they conquer Israel, it's going to become Palestine, and they're going to live in glory. They have never won one war against the Jews. Not one.
They can't. They're too busy killing each other. When Pakistan was created, the same year as Israel, West Pakistan killed 3 million East Pakistanis. Today, East Pakistan is known as Bangladesh. But if you remember all the suffering in Bangladesh, and yet they're both Muslim, they're both Sunni Muslim, and yet one side killed 3 million of the other side.
I
I
thought
don't know for what.
I thought Bangladesh, the people, I thought they were Hindus. They're not Hindus?
No, that's East Pakistan.
Oh, really? Okay. I mean, I know you're right. I mean, I know that they killed, but look, look at what's happening between Russia and Ukraine. Two people of the same composition, same belief. They believe in the Eastern Orthodox Church. Okay, one is Russian, one is Ukrainian, but it's the same. It's the same church, and they're killing each other for what?
I think it's because at the East End they're Russian speaking and they want to be taken away from Ukraine and attached to Russia, which is they feel is their mother country.
Well, I think it's. I think probably yeah, is that Russia is in a severe decline in population. The white Russians, okay, the Christian Russians. People over there are not having children and they don't want to have kids. So it's in a major decline. So the only way they can get any sources of human to fight, to be cannon fodders, is to invade the Ukraine. They did the same thing with Georgia.
That's where Stalin came from.
Yeah. So essentially, it's like I say, Europe every 80 years or so they have to have a really good war. They cannot live with themselves more than 80 years. And
Europe is very crowded. They're very small countries. I think Texas is bigger than any European nation except for the European part of Russia. And they're overcrowded, and that's why there's wars. If you put 4 rats in a habit trail or 4 mice, there's plenty of room and they get along. Now add 20 more rats to that same habit trail without enlarging it, and they're going to be fighting left and right for space and dominance. And that's what Europe is like.
well, I don't know how overpopulated Europe is. I think Europe is really becoming more underpopulated than
Well, but they're not reproducing.
they're not
They can't even
reproducing.
sustain their own white race.
And another thing is they're not being as productive as they used to be because of all the social mandates that they passed over the past 80 years into socialism that there's less productivity, and people are demanding more and more money from the public coffers, from the treasury. They're demanding more services. They're demanding more health care or more education. It's something as in this country is that people are raiding the treasury, and because they're raiding the treasury, it creates a lot of angst, especially now since Europe has been so responsible in importing millions of Muslims and Africans into their society, and these people are not productive at all. They
What do you
are
mean Europe? How about here?
well, it's the same
Africans
thing.
and Muslims.
Right, right. Yeah, you're right. It's the same thing over here. Yeah, uh, that's what's happening in Minnesota. That's what's happening everywhere. Is that they figured out a way to game the system.
A Muslim mayor for New York City, the greatest city in America, the financial capital of the world. And they put a Muslim in charge. I can't wait to see this when 2026 starts.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Uh, uh, but I think he's going to have staying power. Like AOC, people thought that she'll be out of office in 2 years, and she's now on her sixth year in office, I believe. Uh,
Right,
she
but she's one of 535, whereas the mayor is the chief executive of the city. So the city rises and falls based on the mayor's policies. Of course, the governor can step in and change. The governor can even step in and remove the mayor.
from what I hear, what I've been reading is now certain billionaires are moving out of the blue cities, Chicago, New York. They're moving to Florida. The billionaires are getting out of the hellhole that their society has produced. You see.
I just want to, before we close, I want to show a picture of a righteous Gentile. Most people, if they're young, they don't know who she is. If you weren't born in this country, maybe if you were born in Australia, she was at the time in tennis of Billie Jean King when she was the greatest player in the female player in the world.
Yeah.
This was Margaret Court,
Oh, really? Okay. I
and
never
she
heard of
was a
her.
world champion too, around the same time as Billie Jean King. She maybe beat Billie Jean King maybe one in 4 or 5 tournaments. And she says here, this is her now, an older woman, I stand with Israel today, tomorrow, and forever.
Good for her. Yeah. Well, you do have righteous, thank God that there are righteous Gentiles out there too.